Welcome back, everybody, to Be the Trader. Today, I have a special series. If you've been listening to the show, you know I've already started this series by now where I'm interviewing different people to give their perspectives on how certain services were for them. So instead of always, when we're looking for services, whether it's a guru, whatever it is, when it talks about trading, we're always getting reviews from the gurus themselves. I want to be able to provide value to the community by bringing in other community members to give you their personal experiences, good or bad. I don't care. I just want to know the truth from their perspective. So today I have Tim. Tim actually messaged me on Instagram, so I really appreciate you being a listener, Tim, and being here today. So if you can start off by telling people a little bit about who you are, and then we can dive into the two topics of Sykes and Trade Like Mike.
All right. So like you mentioned, my name is Tim. I've been in the trading community for some time, actually, over 4 years to be exact, but it has not been an easy ride, actually. And I started off thinking this is going to be easy 1 year, 2 years, and I'll be making money, living the good life. But how everyone puts it out like it is, like it's the lavish lifestyle. And it's actually the whole opposite of that. Like I said, I'm 4 years into this and I'm still not consistently profitable. I've been working up my bankroll trying to get there because it's definitely easier trading with $5,000 versus $20,000, $30,000 in your bank account. And a lot of people mention that, but no one really dives deep into it. You don't understand what it's like to trade with $20,000.
What are you saying about that? I think that went over my head. You saying 20,000 compared to 5,000?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to put some size into a trade versus 5,000. You go in saying I'm gonna go in with full account.
Okay.
With 20,000, you could go in with $5,000 position, and you're still okay. That's 25% of your account, and it changes your mentality big time. And I've been kind of just getting over that hurdle. No one ever mentioned that to me. Everyone's like, get the biggest account possible, go for it. And it's a whole different ball game out there.
I'd be happy to talk to you more about that because I think it could be a perspective thing too. So but I don't want to take up time and talk about that now. So maybe after the show, so bring that up later. I do want to know, so based off that, your years of experience, who'd you start off with first out of these two that we're going to be talking about today?
Okay, first one I started off with was actually Tim Sykes. This was in 2016.
Cool.
This was a very bullish market. I went in there trying to pick up as much information as possible, YouTube videos, joined his chat room. I was thinking about joining his challenge as well, but I just didn't have the finances for it. And at the beginning, I thought it was quite overpriced for what I could afford. So I tried to go in the free YouTube videos back and forth through a bunch of traders, really, whatever they would offer. And I spent a lot of time with Tim Sykes. I spent about 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, I kind of looked down and said, what did I really learn? And I couldn't say much that the chat room has helped me. And I hate to say that because I've spent a lot of money there. I've spent a lot of time trying to pick it up. And that's kind of the conclusion I came down to. And then I started going into different ventures of Trade Like Mike. And now I'm with 3 chat rooms, Trade Like Mike, Investors Underground, and Rolling Wolves actually as well.
So let's focus on Sykes real quick. So what do you feel like when you looked back on your year or 2 years being with him, what do you mean you felt like you didn't gain? Like, can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, there was just he would put out watch lists and videos and everything, and they're informative. It's good information, but he would kill a lot of time. For instance, just starting with this one thing, in his video lessons, he would rant on a lot. And you would have like 5 minutes of good information and then 15 minutes of saying, hey, look, he made money. Everyone's making money. But then you're wasting a lot of time through all this. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of nonsense. It's kind of like hyping himself up like, hey, I called this trade out here. If you bought it here, you would have made $5,000. That's not the case though, because it's just it really threw me off, and I wasted a lot of time doing that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, compared to others that put out video lessons and watch lists and so.
And you also brought up the chat too. Like, what was it about the chat? Was there some good things or not so good things? Like, what was your opinion there?
His chat room is very, very dilutive, and I mean that by he has some good traders in there, and it's a mess of everything. You have some new people coming in saying, "Hey, I bought this stock at $1, sold it at 120, I made money." And a lot of people do that. So because Tim Sykes in his videos and in his tweets, he highlights that, reposts it, and people want to be the center of attention at the end of the day. Like, hey guys, I made $200, I made $500. I just started 3 weeks ago. It's a great thing, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. And it's just a bunch of people kind of hyping themselves up.
Understand. Is there anything that you feel like, what would you say if there is, and if there's not, that's fine too, that you feel like you took away from it on a positive note?
On a positive note, he really keeps up with his strategies. They're actually very good. And his dip buying strategies, his stocks that he looks forward to, the overall market, he really understands that. But it's such a narrow window to pick that up that it gets exhausting after some time. And I did pick that up. He's really good at saying, hey guys, the SPY is this and that. Be careful, longing, shorting, whatever. And it's really good information.
And then do you feel like through that time period of learning, and I get the video lessons, there could be a lot of just like noise before the lesson, or in between the lessons, so it's hard to pick up. Were you able to? I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, but something like, do you feel like you got full picture information, or do you feel like there were some things missing? I'm just curious on that. Like when it comes to learning a plan or a process or an actual trade.
About that, actually, I also want to touch up on is he does explain a little bit, but then if you ask him more questions about it, even in the chat room, he steers you away to say, join my challenge. I will explain it to you there. And that's the part that was really, I was bummed out because you cannot ask him directly. He will not answer. There was a few people that asked questions 3-4 in a row about a certain stock that's running today or soon to be running. And he just says, join my chat room, ask me there. And that's disappointing.
It is. I get that. And, for some, it could also be a perspective of maybe that's not a stock he's interested in. And at the end of the day, like, I don't like to talk about stocks I'm not interested in, but I get what you're saying, like 100%. Like if that's your default, that could be very frustrating. I know for a fact. And so is there anything else you want to say about Sykes before we move forward?
I mean, he's just like I was talking to someone actually about this, and they mentioned that he brings in a lot of new traders. And without Sykes, I wouldn't even know about trading in general. So he does a lot of good for the community, and hats off to him. But I think there's deeper knowledge than what he shows to the people, in his chat rooms. You have to go deeper than that. But he's a good starting point. But I think the sooner you realize that there's a lot more information out there, I think the better.
Cool. And that's a good point. I mean, like that's why I got Discover Trading. So let me ask you this. So we'll go to TradelikeMike, and then you just I didn't even expect this, but you threw some other services that you're in right now too. But let's start with TradelikeMike. And if we have some time, you can kind of like highlight quick pro and con, what you like and don't like about the other ones. But with TradelikeMike, just let me know. How do you feel about that service? How's it going? Go ahead.
First of all, TradelikeMike is the best bang for your buck I've ever gotten. $49 a month. Yeah. I haven't seen a better deal out there. And if you do yearly, it's even a better deal. I believe it's just under $500 for the year. That's a huge highlight as soon as you're getting started, because you can't be spending thousands of dollars on a service that like you don't know too much about the field in general, let alone understand it. So the price is very good. And the guy will answer any questions. Mike himself will answer any questions that you throw in the DMs on Instagram or just during the trading day. He's very good at that. And if he can't get to you, he'll just message, hey, I didn't get to you guys. Send me a message again. I'll get it back as soon as possible. He does calls as well, like personal calls with some of the members out there.
Nice.
Just send him a message. Hey, let's get on a schedule. He'll give you a call 30 minutes to an hour, all for $49 a month. Huge highlight. I mean, you can't beat that.
That's pretty crazy. And yeah, I didn't even know he did that. That's cool.
Yeah, in terms of
and that's not like a different level of service?
Yes, for sure.
No, I'm saying like, is it a different level? Like, with Sykes, you have to be a challenge student to get that cert. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it all the same?
All the same.
That's cool.
Yes, and he does have like a class that he went through that he teaches people more in depth about his strategies, about where he's mostly a short seller. And he goes into how he does entries, exits, and all this stuff. It's very good information, but that's only a $200 add-on, and you have it for life. It's not like $200 a month or a year or anything. You just buy it once, it's there. So the value is amazing for what he offers, but the downside is most of the time he's a short seller, which is really hard to get into if you're new.
It is. And why is that for people who don't know?
Why is that? Finding stocks to short, first of all, you got to borrow fees. A lot of people can't do that. Another thing is short selling is very, very risky in the beginning. If you don't have risk management, you're going to get blown out on the first stock. It's very, very risky, but that's where a lot of money is made nowadays.
True. So, and I'm biased because I'm a short seller. So, but anyway, so it sounds like there's a lot of good things you like about him, but it all seems to be focused around the bang for the buck, but also the service that you get in terms of like, it seems like a kind of like a white glove service. But then when you mention if you pay this, this little bit more, which I grant it's not much, you're saying 200, you get this, this full like scope of how he enters and so forth. So if you don't get that, what are you getting in the chat room or in the other service? Are you getting like, do you kind of learn how to trade? Like, are you learning how to trade? Can you explain that?
Yes, he trying to word it right. So pretty much if this is how the day goes, how he starts off his stuff. He would put out a watch list every morning, every night, and he would explain it in not much detail. But since the market's so hot right now, you can't start predicting things like, oh, if this goes up, this gaps down, this gaps up, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Usually that's the morning. The thing that he does, he explains a lot of his stocks that he watches for the day. And I mean, he goes deep on some of the stocks that he is watching. Most of his mornings are quiet, though, because he is a trader. He says, I'm trading. Please respect my my time, but I will get to all the questions later for all the members. And that's where you say, hey, why'd you enter in this? What was your risk on that? And he will explain it to you in a good detail. Not like, oh, I was risking 20 cents to make $1. Here it is.
He tells you where he was risking at, where his profit target was, why he was entering, full picture.
Yep.
Good. And I don't mind someone saying, hey, hold off on the questions because I'm trading. Like he's trading. Like that makes sense. So that's good because if you're in that room, for anyone who's listening to the show, you already know like you shouldn't be following anybody. Like it's the dumbest thing you can ever do because I did it and you lose a ton of money. So and you want to be self-sufficient. So is there anything else you want to add about TradelikeMike in terms of pros or cons or anything else?
I mean, not much to add. It's just give it a shot. If you don't like it, you're out $50. I mean, we're losing $50 on a trade every 5 minutes. It's not a big cost. And if you don't like it, just leave. It's fine.
So we have a few more minutes, and I can't remember the ones you mentioned, but what were the other two? And then if you do mention them, give me a quick, your opinion on both.
All right. Another one that I'm in right now, Investors Underground. First of all, huge price tag on it in terms of chat room services. The flip side of that is it's the best service I've ever been in for overall picture.
Okay.
Like if you take the whole trading community, it's right there. And because you have Nate, for example, short seller mostly, goes long a lot of times. You have the momentum trades going on there. You have the swing trades going on. You have option trades going on. There's just everything going on there. And you kind of pick your niche that you want to follow, some people you want to follow, and they're all in the same room. Another thing to know about Nate, his fingers are going on the keyboard 24/7. Anything that's going on, he's right there. He's typing away. He's mentioning stocks. He's mentioning drops, swipes, all of it. And that's some good information to see in the day, not at the end of the day, as it's happening. So it's amazing. I'm a big fan.
Cool. And do you feel like for someone who's new, right? Because you're different now.
Yeah.
You're 4 years in. You have more of a picture. You kind of know what you want to do and so forth. Is it very hands-on? Like they can learn really quickly? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it kind of like you get to learn the process? Can you give me a quick answer on that?
I would say yes, but then it depends honestly on you, because if you walk in saying, I don't know the terminology of what is a swipe up on a stock. I mean, if you don't understand that, go to some free YouTube videos and pick that up, because as he calls these things out, you have to know what it means. So I would say get the basics first and then kind of jump in and stop asking questions within the first 30 seconds of him saying it. Google it. Seriously, look it up, because a lot of people are mentioning, oh, what is this? Can you help me with this? And it's literally 3 clicks away. There it is. It's not that hard, but people are lazy, or I don't know what you want to say, call that, but I don't know. It's disappointing, cool. Honestly.
No, I hear you. Yeah, no, a lot of people are lazy. I think that a lot of people are lazy. You know how many messages I get a day of people just asking me, they say, I love your show, I watch it, and I love everyone who watches the show, like from the bottom of my heart. But there's some, I answer everybody. If you've messaged me before, I answer you. But there's some who ask me a question, and I know they don't watch the show, but they'll say, I watch the show, but have you ever talked to TradelikeMike? I'm like, do you watch the show? But anyway, so what was the other one?
Rolling Wolves. I have not been in there for too long. He's mostly a long trader. He sometimes goes short. I can't say too much about his room, though. It's very small. Most of the time, very quiet as well. He pops in once in a while, but I think he's just working on different projects. He just hasn't been there as much as I would want him to be there. Yeah. And maybe that's due to his personal schedule, but I can't say too many good things about it. Okay. But no worries. I'm just there. I'm there. No worries. The time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Well, look, first off, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being a listener and being willing to be on the show to at least talk about your experiences, because I think it's going to help a lot of other people. And at the end of the day, Tim, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, man.